Jenna.
Well, hi, Shelby.
Happy, what is today, Saturday?
Happy Saturday.
Happy Galentine's.
Happy Galentine's Day.
Hell
Cheers
yeah,
to that.
Cheers. It's not going to be a good clink
Oh,
because
yeah.
mine is
Plastic on glass doesn't give us a good clink, but we have some cute Galentine's drinks today.
Yes, we do. What did you bring for Galentine's, Jenna?
Well, it's not what's in my cup right now because that's gone. But
True.
yeah.
What did we drink earlier?
Yeah, we had a whole mimosa bar. Had some champagne and orange juice and pineapple juice and fresh squeezed grapefruit juice.
Freshly squeezed.
Yep.
In a mason jar. Delicious. That's how you
By
know it's
mason
home
jar,
brew.
you mean like a leftover pizza sauce jar that I've reused?
I didn't realize that's what
Because
that
I'm
was.
a hoarder and I keep glass jars to reuse. Reduce, reuse, recycle.
Absolutely.
Save the planet.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, so that's what I brought. Tell me about the drink you brought.
Oh, so I made very sexy martinis.
Very sexy. Not just sexy.
Just sexy.
Very sexy.
Very sexy. And they're so good.
Yeah.
It doesn't taste like a martini. It's not like what you think it would be. It's got raspberry liqueur, citron vodka, agave syrup, some lime juice, and then I have like a really pretty rim on it, which is also
It
really
was topped
pink.
with a rosé, like sparkling wine too,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Duh, I forgot about that part. It was a rosé prosecco.
A rosé prosecco.
A rosé prosecco.
Yes.
We're fancy.
So they're cute and pink, perfect for Galentine's Day.
Yes.
So happy late Valentine's Day
Happy
to
late
all of our book
Valentine's
friends.
Day. And for Valentine's Day,
Yeah.
what are we reading?
We are reading The Spanish Love Deception.
Oh, so cute. Why'd we choose this one?
It's just a sweet little rom-com. We've been reading, and we know a lot of our listeners have been reading a lot of dense fantasy lately, and we love it. Don't get me wrong. But every once in a while, there's just nothing like a rom-com palate
Exactly.
cleanser in between heavy fantasy books.
100%. Especially because of the fantasy we've been reading. We've been tabbing, and we've got lots of notes, and we've had very long episodes.
It's like doing homework when sometimes.
Exactly.
So coming to something like The Spanish Love Deception is fun because
Yes.
you kind of just got to be along for the ride.
Right. Even if you cringe a little bit.
It was cute though.
It was
what
really
did you?
cute.
1 out of 5 or 1 to 5? God, I can't even talk. It's what all these mimosas have done to me.
Same.
1 to 5. What did you rate this book?
I gave it a 4. Yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was really cute, and I felt like I breezed through it, and so I really liked it. What did you rate it?
I also gave it a 4. Yeah, there was a
A
few
good rom-com.
Yeah, a few cringe moments, but for the most part, I thought it was really cute.
It
for
was so adorable.
It was cute for what I was wanting too.
And you know who else loved it? Our book club.
Yeah.
So we had book club today.
Yep.
And we had so many wonderful ladies show up. And we all had so much to say about this book. And what else did we do today?
Oh, we did a book exchange too. So yeah, the book, we tried to do a Galentine's Day themed book club today.
As you can see by
Yeah, we still got some decor up around us too.
If you're watching in the YouTube, we've got flowers and balloons and the whole theme.
Yep. And so we did a potluck style book club today where people brought like a bunch of different snacks, and go to our Instagram and see this cake that one of the girls brought. She printed out and cut out the faces of like fan art from basically all the books that we've all been reading. There was like 40 faces on this cake. And so then we had a game of like trying to guess who the fan art was.
At the very end, after we've had a couple of drinks.
Oh my God, it was so great. So I highly recommend go to our Instagram and check out that photo of the cake because it was unreal.
Oh my gosh, it was so funny.
Yeah. So we had all that.
One of the highlights, I think, of the day was trying to pick out who was who from like the fan art, because there's so many different fan arts of our book boyfriends.
Yep. So we did that. And then we also did a book exchange today, kind of like a Secret Santa or like a white elephant gift, but what's it called? Secret Cupid? I don't know.
Oh my God, that's so cute. Secret Cupid book exchange.
Yeah. And it was fun. And honestly, the best part of it was everybody brought such good books that nobody wanted to steal.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted to keep the books they had, which was
So
awesome.
fun. So cool.
Yeah.
It was so fun
Very
to
fun.
watch and everything. Oh my gosh, I love it. So many good books too. I feel like I added so many books to my TBR.
Always.
Oh, I know, for real. It's like
The endless TBR.
the endless TBR list. It's insane. Oh my gosh. And
Yeah, I was
everybody
blessed.
brought such good food and good drinks and everything. So
Yeah. If
Yeah.
you're Denver local, just a reminder that our book club is open to anyone that would like to join.
Yes.
We've grown a lot.
Right.
We've got a lot of people in it now, but always open to more. So
exactly.
reach out.
And so on book club note, so for this, we did read The Spanish Love Deception. For March, we are looking at doing House of Flame and Shadow. We wanted to make sure we were giving everybody enough time to read it because it is a massive book.
It's a fatty.
It is.
Yes.
And so we're doing House of Flame and Shadow. We will do that at the end of March.
Yep.
And we haven't decided what location. But if you're interested, give us a DM on Instagram or TikTok. We'll get you added to our monthly book club group. Wow, words are hard.
Those mimosas, man.
It's going to be another Ledge episode.
ASMR.
But yes, so if you are interested in joining our book club, give us a DM. We'll get you added to the book club group and we'll let you know all the fun things that we have coming up.
Yeah. Should we talk about some of the other books we have coming? I know you mentioned Hofast.
I'm so excited.
But yeah, we've got obviously Spanish Love Deception you're listening to right now. We are going to be doing the Third Crescent City coming up. I know everybody's waiting for that episode to come out. So
and another big one that's coming out really recently.
Yeah. So, our favorite dragon books. We have Iron Flame is also going to be coming out in the near future here. And we're really going to be diving deep on all sorts of theories of whether it's signets or what people are. We won't spoil anything yet, but there's a lot of fun stuff.
It's going to be kind of like our Crescent City ones where we dive so deep. There are so many more theories and we both reread it because we read it when it came out and now we already read, damn. This is going to be rough.
It's really setting the tone here.
I love it though. These are my favorite episodes to listen to. So
I'll cheers this.
There we go. Oh. Cheers.
There you go. Can kind of hear that.
Oh my gosh. So we'll dive really deep into Iron Flame with all of the signets and all of the people and everything that's going on. So those are going to be some longer episodes as well. And I'm super excited for that. But some other books that we're going to think about after Hofast. We've got a couple of good, really good recommendations.
We've definitely got a lot that I think are on our soon to read TBR. I know we've talked about doing Ruthless Vows. We've talked about Powerless. I think everybody's been loving Powerless.
Everybody's
so
been loving
there too.
Chasm.
I was going to say we're obsessed with Ledge. And so we're going to read Chasm before the last one comes out.
Yep.
So I'm really excited about that too.
Awesome. And another one that book club was super interested in was Red Rising.
Yeah.
And we really want to read that one too.
That was a happy surprise for me. I'm hoping we can make that a book club book.
Yeah. So we are tentatively thinking of April being our Red Rising month. So that would be very, very exciting for a book club. Yes. Especially diving into we covered a ton of fantasy and young adult fantasy, and it'd be really awesome to move into a little bit of a new genre. And the fact
I love sci-fi.
I know. And the fact that book club was so excited about it made me so excited too. I love it. Literally, I'm just so thankful for all of these women that just show up every month. It's so precious, and it can be so tough as an adult to meet other women that actually have the same interests as you, and being a book lover can be a little bit niche in the real world, and we're just such a part of an amazing community. So thank you guys.
Yeah. Honestly, it is kind of nuts because it's I feel kind of the dream of adult friendships because pretty much every girl has come completely on her own. Yes. And not that it's only women. We invite everybody. We've just happened to only have women so far. But pretty much everybody has come on their own just because they found us through some sort of social media. And I already feel like everyone is so comfortable with each other, which makes me really happy too. Because it can be hard to show up by yourself to a place that you don't know anybody.
Right. And the fact that we had so many women today that were can we do this twice a month?
Yeah, that was really cute.
I was or we could all just go grab coffee or go to a bookstore or do something else together. I was that's so fun.
Yeah, as always. I mean, I'm sure we'll have more stuff coming up too. So just follow it. Give us a follow if you want to see some of the events that are coming up. We talked about maybe having a little readathon moment or going to coffee shop, whatever. So
exactly.
More things coming.
Yes.
But
yes. And if you are loving us as much as we're loving doing this with you guys, please go give us a review on your favorite podcast platform. It really helps us grow. It helps us get some more more views and
Yeah,
really
like,
get
subscribe,
out there.
follow.
Exactly. I know it really helps. So we really appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
You want to get into the Spanish love deception?
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Me too. It was cute.
So what was your favorite part of this book?
Oh, I think my favorite part was the soccer scene.
Oh my gosh.
So once they're already in Spain, right? And Aaron, who's supposedly this football star, American football, has never played the rest of the world football ever before.
Like,
never played soccer.
I was so shocked. I was like, dude, you are like this most like athletic being, whatever, and you've never played soccer.
Yeah, I was maybe less on that part, but the actual scene of, you know, Daniel, her ex, like Lina's ex is there, and they're being all competitive about the soccer game, and Aaron is like, oh no, I'm gonna take this seriously, rips off his shirt, and Lina's just like, she's jaw like, drop.
Honestly, when I was reading that, I pictured She's the Man, where he like takes off his shirt.
Yes. 100% She's the Man vibes.
Yep. I loved it.
I loved that scene. It was just so funny. Well, and it was sweet too, because that was probably right in the middle of where they had really good tension of like the actual fake dating tension, but hadn't necessarily come any further than that yet. And so that, I think that was right in the middle, like the sweet spot. What about you?
Where she was like starting to notice like, oh, I'm feeling a little bit differently about him. Like maybe this is more than I think.
Wait, why is he hot?
Wait, he's hot? Why is he sculpted like a god?
Clark Kent.
Clark Kent. So my childhood crush was Mr. Clark Kent, but it was Henry Cavill as Clark Kent.
Henry Cavill Superman. As any character for me, immediately sold. The Witcher,
immediately,
though,
yes.
number one. He's great as Superman. He's great when he's clean cut.
Yes.
But any man that puts on a blonde wig and gets all dirtied up.
Oh, him as the Witcher.
Witcher, but because it also makes me think of like Orlando Bloom in Lord of the Rings with the blonde wig. Like there's just something about a man in a blonde wig.
Oh, so delicious. But yeah, anything Henry Cavill, which apparently for The Witcher, they switched it to Liam Hemsworth.
Oh, I know. I'm fucking
pissed.
I think everyone is pissed.
I think so too.
I heard it's because the like screenwriting team or whatever weren't following the video games or like comics or whatever closely enough, and he's like enough of a nerd that he was pissed about it and didn't want to do it.
Shut up. That makes me love him even.
So I think there was a little bit of the like he didn't agree with how they were doing the story, and that was part of why. I think it's also because he was going to be doing another Superman, but I know that was part of it, or so they say.
Damn.
Yeah, I was really sad though.
I know, it was such a bummer. Yeah, I loved envisioning him as Aaron.
Yes.
I loved it.
What was your favorite part though?
My favorite part, I think my favorite part was after the wedding when, which we kind of talked about this at book club. So after the wedding, there was like a kiss cam at the reception, and
what wedding have you ever been to that has a kiss cam? I felt like I was at a like sports event or something.
Exactly. And my sister had like literally just got married a couple weeks ago, and I was picturing it at her reception, and I was like, ew. I was like, it just does not fit the vibe that I was getting. And so after the reception, when they walk outside and they were supposed to just kiss
up against a wall.
But then they end up doing a lot more. And it was just very interesting to me.
That was one of your favorite scenes?
That was one of my favorite scenes when she like gets up, because that's the first time that she's like actually like, I want this. And so I thought that was my favorite scene, but also like it was kind of like the first like naughty scene.
Yeah, I guess it was.
And so I just loved it.
That's so funny that was your favorite, because I was actually a little bummed with how that. I mean, obviously it's well written, but I don't know. It's just so if you haven't read this book in a while, if you remember, the kiss cam is like scanning around to show couples to kiss, and both of them are like being all nervous, like, oh, we haven't kissed yet. Like, what if what if it's in front of us? And so I thought they were gonna leave and have a really like more sweet
like
moment.
Sweet moment. Yeah.
And I was really ready for that to be like having him be like, oh, I really care about you, and like I really wanted our first kiss to mean something, or like, you know what I mean? I just wanted it to be for us. I didn't want it to be for everybody. So then he was like, no, I want you and I need you now. I'm like,
you're like, oh.
Okay. I mean, like, that's nice too, but that wasn't what I was expecting.
I mean, it definitely wasn't what I was expecting. I think I was just like so hot for Aaron.
Yeah.
That I was like, oh, damn.
He was hot.
He was so hot, which like in this entire book, like I did not love Lina. Like, I felt like she was awkward. And the entire time I was reading it, I was like, just say something. Like, say anything. Say yes, say no, say whatever. But like, I was getting really frustrated with her because it was like she would just sit there like silent.
Yeah, when he was looking for a reaction from her. Consent. Yeah. Yeah, she definitely wasn't as vocal, like literally with words as she needed to be sometimes. But I don't know. I think a lot of us women can relate to overthinking things in your head and then not being able to have things come out. So I kind of give her some benefit of the doubt for that.
Yeah. I was really frustrated with her almost the entire book for that reason.
Yeah.
Especially because Aaron was so good at being like, I want your consent. I want to know you want this too. Like, will you just give me anything? And the fact that he like the little touches. Like, I love that, like, sensual touch when it's not leading to sex. I was like, I'm a sucker for that.
Yeah. Well, and I think that was kind of my favorite part, or, like, favorite part in general phase of the book was that middle third after they've gotten to Spain and they're doing the fake dating and he's very like, oh, I'm going to put my hand on the small of your back. And, like, all of that just little bits of tension, like he so naturally falls into that. And the fact that he learned all that Spanish and memorized all her family members' names, that is was such so effort. Cute.
The effort, when a man puts in that effort, like, it doesn't need to be sexual. Like,
it was so cute. It was so cute when they were on the plane and she's like trying to quiz him and he's like, I already know this.
I already know.
Like, you don't need to do this. I already know this. She's
and then how cute was it when they get there and he just starts speaking Spanish?
No.
And she's like, when did you do this? He's like, I told you I got this.
Yeah. And the grandma is like, oh, okay.
All right. Okay. And he's like, abuela.
It was so sweet.
So precious.
God, when they got to the apartment in Spain though, and he tries to, he's like, no, I can lay on this little tiny twin bed. Immediately breaks it. I was cackling.
Me too.
I was dying laughing. That whole scene, and then her cousin like comes into the apartment, is like, "Oh, you guys having fun already?"
She's like, "Wow!"
Oh my God, I was dying laughing.
Me too. I was like kicking my feet and like giggling. I was like, "Oh my gosh, they got caught! They weren't even doing anything."
That was so funny. I do wish they had gotten to Spain faster though. I think there was a lot of time. There's like a lot of lead up before they got to Spain.
What did you think about, so like in the beginning when he was like, I thought it was really interesting that he came up and he was just like, hey, I'm gonna be your date, I'm coming with you. And I thought it was just like a little forceful in the beginning, but then he's like, I want you to do something for me, and she goes to the auction with him. What did you think about that auction scene?
Well, I'll back up and it's funny that you say that felt forceful, because I actually, like, it was clear from the beginning that he was going to be the love interest, like, which is fine because rom-coms, that's what we expect out of them.
You're right.
They should be a little predictable that way. But
this isn't an SJM novel.
But I actually liked that subtle confidence, because I didn't feel like he was rude, pushy. He's like, you need someone, I got you. He's like, you need, he's like, I'll do it. He's like, who else are you going to do it? He's like, you don't have anybody else who's going to take this seriously. Exactly. It's like, I don't care. I'll go to Spain. Yeah, whatever. I got you. Like, that's how I read into it, as being like, yeah, whatever. You can pretend you don't need me yet, but
you do.
But I know you're going to. So I actually didn't see it as pushy. I saw it as just like, you're going to get here eventually anyways. Like, you can decide on this when you want to. But yeah. So I actually liked that scene. But with the auction scene, that I felt like was odd. So our book club was comparing it to, like, they thought it was gonna be the Mrs. Robinson thing, right? Like maybe the older lady betting on him for the date was gonna be like an ex-lover of some sort.
I was waiting for it.
It was just didn't seem to end up mattering in the end.
No, it didn't.
I don't know. All of Aaron's backstory didn't really seem to matter at any point.
It was weird. It's like we got so much of him like now, but we didn't get like we got what Lina found out about him, like from her Google search, but like, yeah, we didn't really get that much about him. Like the auction didn't matter. Like she ended up taking him home. It wasn't like we found out any great information.
And they never even went to the dog shelter, which would have been a great scene.
Yeah, what the heck? That was like the whole reason she's like, I would have loved that. I would have loved that date. Like, let's do that. And then they don't do it. And I don't think they even talk about it in like the epilogue or anything.
No, I don't think they do
that when they're dating.
Nope. They don't talk about it. Yeah, we don't have the dog date.
Right.
We don't have, like, by the time they actually get to the wedding, there's like they're like, oh, we're at the wedding, there's a kiss cam, and then it's done.
Right.
Like that's it.
The literal actual wedding was she was standing there and then she walked back and she's like, oh, I looked at him. That was it.
That was the
we
whole
didn't
wedding.
get anything else. We didn't hear anything about the vows. We didn't hear anything about the bride or her dress or anything. And I'm in wedding mode because my sister got married.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I'm thinking about weddings. So I'm like, that we didn't get anything.
Yeah. And not only did we not get the wedding, all of this, like, oh, Aaron is going to help her plan this work event that now she's in charge of, breezed past that in 2 paragraphs?
Exactly.
Like the actual event was not important at all.
Not at all.
I would have really liked to see Aaron's profession, like professing his love at that event. Like somehow maybe like someone is being rude to her there and that he like backs her up in front of everybody. And then like if they're going to have a third act breakup because she's mad about it, fine. But after that, at least. But it was just so dumb.
Yes.
I was so underwhelmed.
I know. Okay, I totally was too. And from Business Girlies, what did you think about the HR standpoint about how that all went down? Because the whole reason Lina was so upset was like, oh no, you're going to be my boss. I've been through this before.
I will say the Spanish love deception is a walking HR nightmare. It really is. Like, I can't even imagine having to be that HR professional. Mm-hmm. There's definitely office place romances. That happens. You know what? My husband and I worked at the same company for 6 years.
Yeah,
like,
for real.
you know what? It happens. But, and I get being cautious of it. I think I just felt for her more because right in the beginning when she gets assigned this, so she's one of there's like 7 of them or something that are basically project leads, like project manager leads in like an engineering group. And she's the only one who's a woman and she's Spanish and she is like, likes to dress nicely, like just dress cute and stuff, like fashionable, and she's personable and bubbly. Yeah. And so of course, as soon as there is a networking social event, they're like, oh, well, Lina's going to do that, right?
Like, because she's good at this. And she was the entire time like, no, I'm not good at this.
Yeah,
You're doing this because I'm a woman.
Right. When it wasn't even, I mean, some of it was maybe that she didn't feel prepared for it, but a lot of it was because she had other things on her plate.
Exactly.
But the assumption that just because she was the only girl on the team and that she was going to be expected to do it, and none of the men, including Aaron, say anything. And she talks about Hector as like a second dad or something.
Yes.
And just no one says anything.
Exactly. I really felt for her in that moment because what a great representation of a woman working on a male team, because that's rough and that happens.
It does happen. Sadly, it really does.
Sadly. I liked though, like even though that specific scene sucked, it was not fun to read. The next scene where Aaron's like, oh, I'm going to stay late and help you. I thought that was really precious.
Yeah. And it was nice that he presented it as like not, I felt like it didn't come off in a demeaning way of like, oh, I don't think you can do this. It was more a, hey, I have some things that I think can help you. So I'm going to show up and let me send you these documents you can start to base things off of. And like, do you even know what you want to have people talk about? Because if not, use this as a starting point. Like, like, let me see what I can do to like get you started. Yes. And it wasn't even like that's the only reason why I think it was okay in my mind that he didn't necessarily get really vocal in the team meeting about, oh, well, put me on that project too, because that means it was still Lina's name.
Like she's still getting the credit for it.
Like she should get the credit, but he was just going to back her up and like help her behind the scenes.
Definitely.
So I did appreciate that.
But even though like we went through all of this, like he was helping her and she was like doing the work and she was getting it all done, then we didn't get the actual event.
Right. Then the event didn't happen.
Together. Yeah. Like what's the outcome of them working together? We didn't get much of that.
What did you think about that first scene when Aaron is coming in to help her after hours and she's talking to her stomach, like full conversational talking, like, no, I'm going to bring you to the coffee shop tomorrow. You shush right now. Like full conversation. Yes. What did you think of that?
I thought it was a little cringy.
That was a cringe moment for me.
It was definitely cringy. Well, because I was just like, Cooper, you are alone in an office talking to your stomach. But not only that, it's talking back to you. I was like, you are having a full-on conversation. And we could have talked about this a little bit earlier. Yeah. It's like I'll definitely be like,
yeah, I'll shush my stomach.
But like, it doesn't talk back. I don't have conversations with it. And so that was just like super cringy. And then he was just behind her.
I know. One of the girls in our book club compared it to like a horror movie when he's like, he's right over my shoulder, isn't he?
Look, it reminds me of like The Office where like Jim looks at the camera and goes, he's right behind me, isn't he?
So funny.
So funny.
Yeah, that was funny. Also, the timeline of this book was just wild.
I didn't even realize until we were talking about it. It was like a 3-week time span.
Like the entire book only spans, well, I mean, minus the epilogue, excluding the epilogue, right?
True.
But only spans like 3 weeks. But like that whole trip in Spain is like 3 days.
Okay. From experience, from somebody who traveled abroad and took what I think it was like a 10-hour flight from New York to Madrid. Like you're not even you have to fly to Madrid and then you have to take a train to where they were staying. And so I was like, this is one, unrealistic. And two, I was like, it's a 10-hour flight.
Yeah, you would not go for 3 days.
No. I was
especially
like,
if her family is there.
Exactly.
Stupid.
Oh my gosh. So part of me was like, this is a little unrealistic. But the other part of me was like, I loved the lingo and I loved like hearing those like Spanish phrases again. And I was talking about this with somebody very recently about like when you are bilingual, like sometimes I forget that I'm reading in a different language. And so I would just I was like reading it and I was like so excited about it. And then they would like use the phrase and then translate the phrase. And I'm like, oh, I didn't even realize that was like in another language. And so that was really fun. I thought that was really sweet.
Yeah. Well, and I appreciated that the Spanish that she put, like that Elena. Yeah. I don't look at the author's name. The Spanish that she put in the book is like basic enough Spanish that I haven't taken any Spanish classes since high school. Right. I mean, I took like a lot of semesters then, but it was enough that even I could translate it easily, which was honestly really nice.
And it's fun.
Yeah, like it was basic enough sentences that you didn't feel dumb trying to read them, you know, or you could kind of guess where they were going. Yeah. Although when they were trying to pick the Spanish pet names, no.
Ew. Or how many times he called her baby. Oh my God, one of our girls in the book club, we were laughing so hard because apparently in the audio version that she was listening
on Spotify,
it was like, it sounded like Siri. And so it would be like, come with me, baby. And I'm like, ew, cringe.
Yeah, that was one moment where I could maybe see that maybe this was her debut novel.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved it. It was really cute, but it was a little cringy on some of those moments. And yeah, although we had somebody else who said that they've already read, is it The American Roommate Experiment, which is book 2 of this series. So if you haven't read it, Lina's best friend, Rosie, in this book, the second book is about her.
Which is so cute. And they said it was even better than this one.
Yeah, she said it was even better than this one and that she was just kicking her feet and laughing. So that's a good sign.
Makes me want to read it.
Yeah.
I love that. I think it's really funny because thinking about Aaron and how much I loved the sweet man, thinking about him versus like some of our fantasy men and like how different this was. Like Throne of Glass spoilers, if you haven't read this, our love interest, Rowan. When he punches Aelin in the face, it is just like normal.
I feel like fantasy men can get away with cringier lines or more aggressive behavior than men in contemporary romances. Like
absolutely.
In rom-coms, the bar is set at a very different place of like what they need to do.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we had a girl who's saying that she'd been reading a lot of dark romances or like dark fantasy. And so she's like halfway through the book, like, okay, well, when's the actual love interest going to come around? Like,
or when is the dark curse going to set in?
So it is kind of funny to read this and just be like, oh yeah, it's just a sweet
what
rom-com. It's expected.
Yes. Because I love it. Because like you think about like all these rom-coms, I feel like all the rom-coms I've like watched, because this is one of my first rom-coms I've actually listened to as an adult, and so I have a very different perspective of it. But like all the rom-com movies that I've watched, I feel like I'm like, oh yeah, you got a ditzy girl and a guy who just wants to fall in love with her and he's really good to her. And it's funny to me because like that's not very realistic, right? But man, do we wish it was real.
Yeah.
Men written by women are a different breed, man.
Exactly. Not only do they know where to find important body parts, but but when you say you want 3 tacos, they buy you 5. I loved that scene too.
When you say you're not hungry and they buy you food.
Yeah.
Yep. Or when he automatically knew which restaurant she had been to because she was listening. He was listening to her.
Although, I mean, there was a lot of conversations Lina and Rosie seemed to have in like public spaces of their workplace. Like that seems like a very personal conversation to be broadcasting this loudly.
Again, HR nightmare.
HR nightmare. I'm telling you, this book is an HR nightmare.
Which like, okay, back to the HR nightmare. When they actually had a conversation with HR and they say, there's no issues with it, unrealistic. He's her boss.
I don't know. I mean, it's just that you have to disclose it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like just to make sure that there's no preferential treatments as a result of the relationship or anything.
Yeah.
But most companies, their policies don't prohibit it. It's just that it's like maybe discouraged between like levels of power where you're directly overseen by that person.
Okay.
For the entire reason of why Lina had that whole experience with Daniel, right? Because the like difference of power can be a problem.
Well, and on that note, on the difference of power, what a difference in the way Aaron handled things versus the way that Daniel handled things.
Yeah. Like, although, I mean, as much as Daniel was like a little bit of a tool, he didn't seem in this one. There was the only scene that he seemed really bad was when they had the conversation in the like restaurant or whatever. It was maybe like the groom's dinner or her dinner or whatever.
Yeah, I think that was at like her house or somebody's house.
I thought they were at a restaurant for some reason.
They might have been. Rom-coms.
But they, are like passing each other on the way to the bathroom, and he like kind of makes some catty comments of like, oh, well, now that you're a real adult, or oh, well, like I thought you were better than this, kind of thing.
Ew.
So those moments I thought he was really gross. Yeah. But I mean, I did feel a little bad for him. Do you think his fiance is real? She didn't come up. Did she show up physically at any point?
No, because she had to work.
She had to work during the wedding.
Which, like, I'm sorry, what professor gets called into work like that? Like,
I don't know.
No. I thought that was really odd because that's the whole reason she was even worried to go to the wedding, was that like she was going to be alone and Daniel was going to be there with his new fiance. And then he literally says like, oh, she gets called into work, so she's not at the bridesmaids, bridegroom, whatever.
The joint bachelorette party.
Yes. And then she doesn't even show up to the wedding.
Yeah.
That was really odd to me. So like,
weird.
She fake. She not real.
I believe that.
Yes.
There's no body.
If there's no body, it didn't happen.
Usually we take that in a different way. If there's no body, they're not dead. But in this case, if there's no body, she's not there.
Real.
Yes.
Fantasy books versus rom-coms, let me tell you.
Oh my
God, that's so funny.
Another scene that I loved, though.
Which one?
Which I would hate in real life, but I loved it in the book. Was before the auction, and Aaron's not given Lina very many details about what they're going to be doing. He just said to like wear not a cocktail dress, but like formal dress or something.
An evening gown.
Evening gown. And she doesn't have his phone number. So she sends him an email to his work email and like signs it all professional. And she's like, haha, got him. And then he shows up to her apartment an hour before they're supposed to leave because he's like, I know this bitch isn't ready. And so he like comes in, she's like in her robe and like not ready at all or whatever. And so their interaction there through that and the fact that he was like, why were you so weird in your email? After she was like, haha, got him.
And then it was like, that was weird.
It was so weird.
But she still tried to like play it off like, haha, it was funny. No, you think it's funny and quirky. You want to know what it reminded me of?
What?
There's this girl on TikTok and I think her name is Delaney or something, but she always does these videos like the absolute worst girl in rom-com movies, and she like pretends to be them. I'll have to send it to you later because she is so funny. And
is she brunette?
Yes.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Those videos are so funny.
Exactly.
She's like, oh, it's just, my name is April because like my mom just loved the rain.
Yes. Or like the way that she like dances in the rain and she goes, have you never lived before? Have you never taken risks? You've never lived a day in your life. And I'm like, it cracks me up because this is what I'm picturing. And I'm like, it really is that cringy
main
and that
character
weird
energy.
I know.
And
it had me cracking up. But also the fact that like he shows up an hour early. And then she has a formal gown. And she was like, I have nothing to wear.
She's like, well, I bought this because it was pretty.
A couple of months ago, but I've never worn. What else did you think you were going to wear? You knew exactly. If I have one dress in my closet that I know is for a formal event, you better believe I'm going to wear that too as a formal evening gown to a formal event.
But you know what? I wouldn't hate if somebody dragged me on a date to somewhere that I got to wear a formal gown. I don't ever get to do that.
Me neither. I think
I want to go to a ball.
Me too. Stardust? What is the one in that?
Oh, the one's in Colorado Springs?
Yes.
I know we're too late for tickets for it, but I definitely would.
Oh,
we need to have my husband and his college friends do this thing they call suit day. It started when they were in college, like when they were teenagers still. Oh my gosh. And they had classic college fashion, boys, but they wore their, I was going to say nicest, but probably only suits. And they literally wore it like to class and everything. Stop. And they poured like drinks in water bottles. And they basically just like went bar hopping in their suits just because, like, literally no reason to be wearing the suit. But the whole point of suit day is to go out with your friends, have some drinks, have a good time in the fancy attire that you never get to wear. Stop. So I really want to have
the Carlson School of Management.
Yes. So
pretend class.
Yeah. So I really want to have a girl version of suit day where you can wear a suit or a ball gown or whatever the fuck you want.
I know. I can't remember. Maybe the last time that I actually wore like a gown. Well, okay.
I mean, you were just a bridesmaid. I know. Say.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. But I'm thinking back to we had pharmacy prom.
Oh yeah.
And that was really fun. I had this like beautiful like black gown, and it was like an actual event for us instead of like an event for somebody else. And so like that's the last time I think that I got to like dress up like for myself. And that was really fun. That was a blast.
I always love to get a dress up.
Gosh. What do you think about, let's talk about some tropes in this book. What do you think about the fake dating trope?
I love fake dating.
I love fake dating.
I am a big fan. It's one of the only tropes that I think is commonly in rom-coms that I'm a big fan of.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other ones I'm kind of like, but I love the fake dating stuff. I love, because you get almost the same as like forced proximity where you're like having to pretend and be near each other, but that like, oh, is it real? Is it not real tension? I always think is so sweet.
I know that.
What about you?
Oh my gosh, it was so sweet. I loved it, and I don't actually think I've read a book with fake dating.
Oh, cute.
And so I really liked it, and I just thought it was so fun because I knew from page one that he was in love with her. So I was like, oh my God. Just love it so much. And I was like, girl, get it through your head. He loves you.
I know. What do you think about third act breakups?
Ew, it's one of my worst tropes ever. I hate it so much.
Yeah.
I'm like, you guys already confessed your love. What are you doing? You're just being stupid.
Especially that the third act breakup was at like 93% of the book.
What the fuck? It made me so mad.
It's different it's like a little bit different if there's a valid reason and it's much earlier in the book and there's actually something to overcome. Like I understand that a little bit more.
There wasn't.
This was at the very, very, very end of the book, and then there's like 2 pages, and then she's like, I'm gonna fly to Seattle and see him.
And the fact that it was just like, hey, the one issue you had with this was like HR. They were fine with it. And so what?
It wasn't just HR. I do kind of give her that because it wasn't Hector. Who was the guy that got fired?
I don't even remember his name.
I don't remember his name because he doesn't matter. Because
he doesn't matter because fuck him and he got fired. Bye.
But that also, I mean, exists, you know? Like there
absolutely does some stigma.
Especially when you're talking about some older generations that are still working and maybe now working with younger generations, and he had that attitude of like, oh, we're going to sleep your way to the top. Yeah, but I could have done that too, sort of thing. So I understand that her concern wasn't, I think, as much HR as the perception from everybody else, because she had worked so hard to develop herself as a project manager and an engineer
by herself,
and whatever.
On her own.
She wanted to be valued for her work and not have someone demean it by thinking that it was just because she's sleeping with the boss.
Exactly.
You know? So
and something we've also been talking about a little bit more recently because of personal issues is like, if this was a man in this position, they clearly did not have as much of a qualm with him.
Right.
Like sleeping with her. It's like, if it was a man sending an aggressive email, probably would come off a little bit differently.
Yeah. Or like if she was the boss and he was below her, they'd be like, oh,
great job.
Nice job, dude.
She even said that. She was talking about that when she was talking about Daniel. If it was the other way around, they'd be like, wow, cougar, get it, girl. You got it. And like, high five, bro. Ew. Like, why? And we see this in real life literally all the time. And so it actually made me like genuinely like primally angry. I hated it.
Yeah. Yeah, that part made me really sad. I think that Lina talked about, or, you know, internal dialogue talked about her family's reaction to the experience with Daniel so differently than what my perception was from seeing their reactions in the scenes that we had with them, because she made it seem like she needed to move away because even they were being weird and not on her side. But when she came back, everything they were saying, they were like, we just want you to be happy, like we just want you to be yourself again, like we don't want you to, like we're just here for you, whatever you need, right?
We just want you to be happy.
Yeah. And so it made me sad. It always makes me sad when I read a book and the main character can't see the love in front of them. And I think that experience with her family, I was really feeling, because all of the interactions with her family, even if some of them were like a little TMI, like her sister being like, hey, show me a dick pic.
Ew. Like I okay, would no never. Thanks. Ew.
Like that's weird. But
or like, hey, tell me this really deeply sexual moment you guys have had with each other. Like, no, I would not talk about that with my grandma in the room.
But at the same time, I did really appreciate that her family was really wanting her to be involved, and they were like really excited she was there. Yes. And I don't know. Yeah. I think that she had underplayed their relationship in the first third of the book. And by the time she got to Spain, I was like, oh, like this is a family that really cares about you and just wants you to be happy. The scene with her dad, like, get all teary at dinner.
Oh my God, that was so precious. Yeah. I know. Or the fact that they just like literally loved Aaron, and they were like, he's perfect for you.
I know. They could see it before she could.
I know. I thought it was so precious. And at the dinner when he was like, yeah, I really, like, we pretended to hate each other and all this stuff, but, like, I was never pretending, like...
Oh, I know. When he retold the story of how they met.
Perspective.
Oh, my God. It was so sweet.
I was love it. I was like, I knew it. I knew it.
It was cute.
Like, she just couldn't see it. But it's also cool because it's, like, it kind of made me, like, switch perspectives a little bit in, like, my own world. Like, oh, yeah, everybody really does, like, have their own perspective. Like, there's... my story, your story, and the truth. And so it's like, it's always like everybody has a very different perspective of like what's going on in situations. And so it kind of like forces me to like take a little bit of a step back too and just be like, oh, maybe like some things that have like happened, like maybe I just need to take a step back and like think about it a little bit differently. Yeah. Which can be a little tough in relationships, but yeah. So I'm making up a trope here. What do you think about the trope, I love you in 48 hours?
Oh, yeah. The like insta love. I think that's what I would call. That's a true trope. I would call it insta love. I tend not to be a fan of insta love, which is why even fated mates can sometimes be mixed for me because I don't always love insta love. But I don't know if I even could quite call this insta love. I feel like this was more unrequited love and then became, to lovers, you know, because think about how much time you spend with your coworkers.
Definitely.
As much as she tried to pretend like, oh, I hate him. If you've been working with somebody for a year and a half, you know them and their habits fairly well. I mean, you spend a lot of time together, and especially because she was talking like in such public spaces and he was overhearing all these other details about her life
talking
and stuff.
To herself by herself.
Well, and sometimes to Rosie too.
I know. I'm just
but
kidding.
So I don't even know that I really would call it completely insta love, because I think they had known each other and known so much about each other before they started talking about like really deeply personal items.
Yeah.
So
do you think that she actually had feelings then before she even admitted them? Or do you think she actually didn't like him and then it was just insta love on her part?
I think passion is a fine line between love and hate. And I think she was in that fine line.
Yeah.
I don't think she ever truly hated him.
I don't think so either.
I think she was just salty that he didn't respond the way that she wanted to when she gave him the present.
Low key, I would also be really hurt if somebody responded like to me giving them a welcome gift like that. Ouch.
Yeah.
Like you put so much like thought and effort into that, and then they just like are rude about it. Like I'd be hurt too. I probably wouldn't lead on for 18 months and be like super butthurt about it, but like in the moment I'd definitely be hurt.
Yeah.
You
talked about the baby being a little bit annoying from a writing perspective.
Yeah.
I'm curious if you had any thoughts about the amount of times that they talked about Lina like wanting snacks or wanting chocolate or she wants 3 desserts, not 1.
I think that's annoying.
It was just too much.
It was too much. It was okay, you're a girl who eats, we all eat. Like something else that I really, really don't like is that, I'm going to starve myself, and then she passes out, and I was just like, you idiot. Like
Aaron says that too. Aaron says, you idiot.
Yeah, I know. And I was just like, what the hell?
But then there's the car rain scene. You want to talk about that one?
I loved the car rain scene.
That was so cute. So she has, this is like after she's been working late, and this might have been after the granola bar incident. So she's like trying to get to public transit to take it home.
Homemade granola bar incident, by the way.
So sweet.
So precious.
And he like pulls up in front of the building, and it's, just like downpouring, and she's drenched. And
her nice shoes.
And so she gets into his like very nice car and is like sitting on the very edge of the seat in the front because she like doesn't want to ruin anything. He goes, have you ever been in a moving vehicle before?
That was so funny. I just loved it. I loved it. Yeah. But I loved that, like, so comparing him again to our fantasy men, like, that was one of the things that I really liked about him. Like, also with our fantasy men is that he was very protective. Yeah. So he was like, I'm going to carry a granola bar because I know you're not eating because you're trying to lose a couple pounds for the wedding. Or like, I'm going to be on the street and then I'm going to pick you up. And like, I'm going to be there for you and make sure that you are like being the best version of yourself. So I really liked that.
Well, and he carries her after she passes out too. And carries her couch. I was like, I was melting. That's the one thing that I think I liked the most about like Aaron as a main male character. Yes. Is for me, he was just the right amount of like assertive, confident, but without being a cocky asshole. Just he was really like nurturing, like protective, and I liked that.
And it's not only like he was protective and nurturing, but he was funny.
He was funny.
And I loved that. Like when they finally get to Spain and he starts to show his like goofy side. Or actually, no, it was at the auction when he like smiles real big and she goes, it made me melt. I was like, oh my God, I love smile. Like a guy's smile is like one of the first things I look at. Smile in the eyes. And so I was just like, oh my God, like I can picture that. Like that would make me melt too.
I was also laughing really hard when she almost bet on the guy with the boat, the old man with the boat.
And he just like stares her down. She's like, sorry. Okay, I thought that part.
So funny.
It was so funny, but I was cringing so hard when like I could picture it like they're still calling out and she's like, I'm sorry, okay. And she's like trying to mouth to him. I was like, stop. Like, for some reason, that pissed me off.
Oh, did it?
Yeah. Like, I thought it was hilarious that she had, like, bet on him because she's like, nobody else is doing it. It's like, you had one job. You had one job.
I don't know. I mean, I've never been somebody in a auction where people are betting like thousands of dollars for a date with somebody. So
No, me neither.
I gotta imagine that's an uncomfortable situation.
Definitely.
To be standing by yourself,
Yeah.
not have been expected to be in that. And,
Right. I
yeah.
think I was just like irritated with Lina in herself. And so when she got to that point and she was just like mouthing sorry, and it wasn't once or twice, it was an entire page long that I was just like, stop. And then they like call his name and then he comes out and he like puts on a show again. And I was like, dude, like, I don't know. It just rubbed me the wrong way. I think.
See, and this all just comes back to I feel like such a brat because none of the scenes that were more Aaron focused like mattered to me at all. Like all the stuff with his dad, I feel like that should have been really emotional, and I just did not care.
Okay, I didn't care either, and that was really sad. Like at the end, it was
but
like,
then it's like he didn't even die a year later. He was still alive
He was
anyways,
still-
and so I'm like, okay, well, I mean,
No, it didn't
okay,
even
cool.
matter.
I'm glad that you guys reconnected, I guess.
yeah, cool. Glad you flew all the way to Seattle. How much did that cost?
I mean, okay, I didn't necessarily have that thought, but
I did because I was like, wow, if I'm buying a flight same day, that's probably at least $1,000 from Denver. I couldn't do that right now. I was like, damn, girl, you really do. What if you show up and you can't find where he is?
Well, that's the thing is they tried to make it seem like I felt like a movie when they do that. I don't know what hospital he's in, so I'm just gonna call and visit every single hospital in Seattle until I find the one he's at. I'm like,
do you know how long that would
you
take?
know how many hospitals there are in Seattle?
Also, if you're not related to the person,
They
will
won't tell
not
you anything. They won't even tell you they're there.
Exactly. And so I was
HIPAA
like,
privacy laws, guys. I mean, you're not, even
You
if you're,
can't.
oh, let this be our warning to any of our listeners. If you have a boyfriend and you're not, or fiance and you're not actually married, make sure you sign those documents for your
'cause they
significant
have to
other.
be-
If you have not signed those types of like HIPAA authorization for them and you are in the hospital will not tell them
Nope.
anything. They can't even confirm you're there. So
right. Unless they're like listed as like I don't even know the word for it, but they have to you have to list them as they can know your contact information.
right, but like if you're unresponsive, I'm saying if you're unresponsive,
Yeah.
they won't share any of that information
Oh, definitely not.
unless you have that document in your hand saying they signed this.
say I am married.
So,
yes.
anyways,
Exactly.
Well, not even married, just gotta have HIPAA authorization.
Yeah. Yes. Yep.
So, anyways, that's a side note, but it's a very important
It's
note.
a very real one. And so that's why this was unrealistic. It's because it's
Yes.
just like, well, and then she even said like, they asked me if I was family or friend and I didn't know what to say. You're not a family. You've known it. What? No.
Yeah, all 3 days of you guys dating now.
Exactly. I was like,
Fake
no.
dating. 3 days of fake dating, not
Exactly.
your family. God. Yeah, that was kind of a little over the top, but it was
Yeah.
still funny.
It was definitely a little ridiculous. But
Yeah.
I mean, even though I thought it was ridiculous, I still thought it was fun.
It was fun.
I still liked
I had a good
it.
time. I had a good time. I enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. It was not a serious read, and that's okay. Sometimes you don't need a serious read.
Exactly.
Sometimes you just want fun.
Sometimes you need a really good fantasy palate cleanser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This did that for me for sure. Do you think you'll read The American Roommate Experiment?
I think I will.
Yeah.
I liked it enough where like it's fun to like joke about it and be like, oh my God, can you believe this? But like I still liked it. Like
I still thought it was cute.
and I still think I would like, as we were saying earlier, this was her debut novel. And since we have also heard that the American Roommate Experience is very good, I would love to read it. Yeah.
I know, I'm super tempted. So this version is from the Bookish box. It's
it's
like
so
super cute if you're seeing it on
pretty.
YouTube. But they literally just released the American Roommate Experience. They're doing the sequel, and I hadn't
they
decided if I was
did?
gonna buy it yet.
Yeah.
But I kind of think I need to.
Yeah, because it's so cute.
so
How do you buy? Can you buy them after the fact?
Yeah, they're still, I mean, assuming they don't sell out. They sell out a lot of them
Yeah,
pretty
they do.
quickly, but I don't think I would be surprised if this one sold out.
Right, because any of the fantasy ones, they sell out like literally right away.
Yeah, a lot of them do. But I'm pretty sure this is already in general sale.
Yeah,
I don't think you can get the Spanish Love Deception, but you can get the second one.
yeah. I thought this was so cute. Do you have
That's
any
cute.
other thoughts on this book?
I don't know. That's what I got, man.
So cute.
It was a nice change up.
It was. I loved it. it definitely a nice, because we were both in the middle of reading How Fast right now. So it was nice to not have to tap a book and not have to be like super in depth with it. And the fact that all of the girls, like, we were kind of saying this earlier, the volume just kept getting louder and louder.
Escalating.
We were like, oh my God, especially after a couple of drinks were had.
Oh,
we were all just giggling and kicking our feet. It was just so fun.
Get a dozen or more girls in a room talking about books, and the volume is going to get real loud.
What was so funny, because like before we even decided that the Spanish Love Deception was going to be our book, we were a little nervous because it was like, do we want to switch it up? Like, are people going to like it? Is it going to be the same?
We do stick towards more fantasy, I think.
Right.
I mean, not all fantasy, but mostly fantasy in our book club. But I think it was also funny listening to how many people waited until the last minute. They were like, yeah, I was finishing the audiobook this morning as I was getting ready.
I mean, I finished it yesterday.
But I'm really impressed. I'm pretty sure all but one. I think there was only one girl who had, and she was in the last couple chapters anyways. Like, that's very impressive for a book club to have everybody finish the book.
Exactly. And we did it a little bit early because we had to switch around some dates and stuff. And so it was like, it was pretty awesome. Yeah. And I loved the fact that, like, even if people didn't love the book, we had so much to talk about.
Yeah.
And it was really fun. It was a really fun discussion.
That was, I think, our best book club yet.
I think so too. I think it was an absolute blast. And it just makes me more excited for next month and the month after and the month after.
Yeah. Well, next month, if you decide that you might want to join us for next month in Denver, we're doing another book exchange, but we're doing it like used books, either like ones that you already read that you want to be able to just exchange with somebody else.
Right.
Or if you have a book that you loved and you want to buy a used copy or whatever, but it is supposed to be lower key.
Yeah. Like used book exchange.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm excited for that too, because we had, a wide range of tastes of books within it. So
it was awesome.
That'll be fun to see what people bring.
Exactly. Yeah, there were so many good picks that people brought. And it was fun because some of the ones that were like were traded, because not a lot were traded.
No.
It was like, oh my gosh, I've either read it and absolutely loved it, or that's one of the ones that I'm really excited to read. So it was just really awesome.
Yeah, I stole my book. I kind of felt bad. It was cute. I stole Remarkably Bright Creatures.
I've seen it so much on social media.
Oh, I'm really excited. I've heard it's really good.
Oh my gosh, that's so fun.
Yeah.
I love it. Awesome. Well, what a fun February book club.
Yeah. Happy Valentine's Day. Galentine's Day if you celebrate.
Yeah, we love it.
Yeah.
This was such a blast. And we will see you guys next time for our Iron Flame Part 1.
See you next time.
Bye.